Well, good morning, everyone. How you doing? Thanks for coming on this morning, and we appreciate it. Thank you for all of our followers, and we sure enjoy, guys. You guys, Mike, how are you from Norland, and Brahim, you two guys, unreal. How you do it? I don't know how you do it. Eric, how are you from Ottawa? Andrea, Niagara Falls, and Wendy from Wasaga. Louise, how are you? Doc McEwen, I finally see that name. And that's Kevin. Fran from Orangeville. Mary, how are you? Jeanette, bonjour. Donna from Park Hill. And Shirley from Twin Gate, Newfoundland. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Wendy from Markham. Nick from our staff. Lisa. And Jeanette. Keith, how are you? Diane from LaSalle. Nancy, Gores Landing. Carrie from sunny Nebraska. Madeleine from Kippawa, Quebec. Laurie, Cambridge. Dave from Muskoka. And Sue, how are you, from Bolton. John, Elgin, Illinois. Francis Marie. Debbie, good morning from British Columbia. And Donna. Tina. And Rebecca from Callender. Hi, Rebecca. Suzanne and Danielle Papineau. Marl from Ottawa. Leslie, Thunder Bay. Carol from Newfoundland. Nativity, asking how I'm doing. I'm doing great. Robin, Connecticut. Diane, Thunder Bay. And Jean, Strathroy. And I think that was, I couldn't see it. Gary. And Maureen, Penticton, British Columbia. Fran. Two friends in a row. From Tilsonburg. Chantal, Ottawa. Milika, how are you? Mary, PEI. Norma, Texas. Rosa, Montreal. Thea. And Sharon, Albaline, Kansas. Sue, how are you? David, Ridgeway. Carol, good morning. And Margie from Kansas. Carol from Moncton, New Brunswick. Joyce from Kansas. Wow, Kansas. Madalena, Laval. Kelly, thanks for coming on. Carol. And Lisa. Guylaine. Bonjour. Bonnie, good morning. Couple more and we got to go. Rita, Wasaga. Beverly, good morning to you. Colleen, and thanks for coming on, guys. Jan, Flin Flon, Manitoba. Francis, how are you? Well, I got a little bit of notes here. Victoria, how are you? And Wendy from New Brunswick. Margie, I hate to say, and Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Okay, Beth, how are you? Now, let's talk about digestive issues this morning, okay? We're going to talk digestive issues. So let me put this over here or over here. Probably over here. Let me just see here. Okay, you guys can see that? Can you read my writing? We are going to go through 6 things, and we're going to hit pretty well any digestive issue you have. From IBS, okay, let me give you a couple of conditions before we start, and I'll go through this list. IBS, even some autoimmune like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's, celiac, okay? But IBS, irritable bowel, diverticulosis, diverticulitis, acid reflux, anything that's got to do with the stomach and the bowel. Now we're going to go through this, and if you want, I'll take a picture of this here after, and I'll post it on the private Facebook group. But I want to give you an overview of what to do, how to fix this. Probably 60% of the population, I don't think I'm exaggerating, it's probably higher than that. They walk around every day with some major digestive issues. And guys, anybody that knows this takes away from your quality of life. Big time. Big time. And I have a protocol to fix these things, to make them a whole lot better. And it works, guys. It works. Now, it doesn't happen overnight. Okay? It doesn't happen overnight. But you got to fix these things. And unfortunately, we live in a mixed up world. And even in medicine, it's mixed up into the sense that, like they put Band-Aids on these things and usually don't fix them. Okay, so let's go through. You got any digestive issues, anybody in your family, loved ones, friends, this is important. Okay, and I usually tell people why they are in that position. Okay, so the first thing you gotta do, especially in the gut, okay, is replace, replenish, regenerate. Okay? Understand that in the gut, you got trillions of bacteria. And we call it the microbiome. You gotta fix the microbiome. Most people, they have no idea. I still talk to people almost on a daily basis. They've got major digestive issues and nobody has told them why. I talked to a young lady the other day and major digestive issues. I said, can I ask you a question? Were you on lots of antibiotics as a child? Yep. I said, well, there's your problem. Ear infections, throat infections, which come with childhood diseases, right? I mean, you're a child. The problem is antibiotics. They strip away all of your bacteria. They really derange the microbiome. And what has been proven is sometimes a strain of bacteria that you used to have in your gut never comes back. So you need to replace that. Replace it. Okay? So start with replacing bacteria. Replace bacteria. Replace, replenish, regenerate. Now, there's a couple of things in that, okay? So I have that over here, okay? Probiotics, broad spectrum. I love fermented foods, guys. I do. They're good for you. But it's not enough. It's not therapeutic enough. You need a broad spectrum probiotic. And broad spectrum means it's got at least 10 different strains. And different strains do different things in your gut. They all have their little function. and you want to replace and regenerate, okay? The other thing that I like in replace, regenerate, and replenish is bone broth. Why do I like bone broth so much? Because it helps to not only regenerate the lining of the gut, it regenerates the lining of the gut. Now, what is the amino acid? I'm going to ask you a question because I love asking my audience a question because you guys are the smartest. What is in bone broth, especially, that is so good for your gut? Okay, someone tell me. And let me see. What is so good in bone broth? Glutathione. Close. Collagen, yes. Collagen helps heal the gut. But there's something I'm looking for. L-glutamine. Linda's got it. L-glutamine. Okay, you guys are smart. I love all the answers, okay? You got it. You guys got it. Hey, look, collagen is key. It is. You're right about collagen. Because again, collagen is so important to regenerate. It regenerates your skin. It regenerates. It does. It's good for you. Big time. It's good for your hair. But there's something very specific in bone broth. And I put it in gut ease too. L-glutamine. L-glutamine knits that little barrier. It knits it. It glues it. That little barrier between your gut and your blood. So guys, where do you start? You start with probiotics. I would be on a bone broth. Make it yourself, or we'll help you with that. Okay? So good for the gut. And people, they just don't know these things. They don't know these things. Okay? Number one, replenish, regenerate. Okay? You want to regenerate that gut. You want to replenish the bacteria there. Okay? Replenish, replace. Okay. There. Number two. This is so important too. Okay? Can you see this? Fix dysbiosis. Fix dysbiosis. Let me say this. If you have digestive issues and they are prolonged, in medicine we call it chronic. You have chronic digestive issues. Can I say something? You have yeast. You have dysbiosis. You got fungus. You have a Trojan horse that got into your gut. Okay? You got a Trojan horse in there. It snuck in. Often after antibiotics. All the chemicals that we have. Disrupts the microbiome. Okay? People taking Tylenol or Advil, and they take it, they got headaches or whatever, and they don't realize that disrupts the microbiome. You know what else disrupts the microbiome? These artificial sweeteners, like aspartame and other things. Sucralose. They disrupt the microbiome. And now you get a yeast coming in, a fungus. I call it a Trojan horse. It's an invasive army. When your microbiome is good, got nothing to worry about as far as yeast. But if your microbiome, your bacteria, the bacteria that's on your side, has been deranged, you're in trouble. And because that Trojan horse comes in, yeast, fungus. And guys, you know me, in the small intestine, you'll read about this if you Google it. You'll read about a condition called SIBO, S-I-B-O, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. But it really isn't. It's a small intestine fungal or yeast overgrowth. There's always a big yeast infection in the gut. And you get bloating and you get gas and you're unwell digestively. I've seen pictures and patients that have sent me pictures, or I've seen it in my office. They look like they're pregnant. And they got bloating and, that puffiness in the gut. That's no fun. The key, the key is number one. Okay, let me show you. I got a shirt on. I'm going to go back. Don't feed the bears. Okay? Don't feed the bears, guys, because what happens there is yeast needs to be fed. And it thrives on sugar. It thrives on it. So eliminate the sugar, guys. And I really like, for any yeast, I like probiotics, right? L. reuteri and L. rhamnosus are two strains that really help to get rid of a yeast or a fungal invasion in your gut. Okay? And secondly, you know me, and oil of oregano. I love oil of oregano because it's an antifungal, it's an antibacterial, it's an antiviral. It's God's gift to us as a natural antibiotic, antifungal. Oil of oregano is nothing better. So I'm really big on getting rid of yeast. If you've got a chronic digestive issue, you just about bet your bottom dollar that you have also an invasive army. An invasive army that is set up shop in the gut. Okay? So, number one, replace, regenerate, renew. Okay? Probiotics, gutties, fix dysbiosis. Fix it. Get rid of SIBO. Get rid of SIFO. Like I said, at the Martin Clinic, we sort of renamed SIBO to SIFO. It's like, ladies, you get a a bacteria in your bladder, and you get a recurring, and the doctor, they see leukocytes in your urine. They go, oh, you got an infection there. And they give you an antibiotic. The antibiotic, actually, I know, I'm not against antibiotics. The problem is, you better take a probiotic with it. Otherwise, you're going to get a yeast invasion in the bladder. Now you're going to get a recurring bladder infection. It really isn't bacteria. It's yeast. It's fungal. Doctors are so poorly trained, I hate to say it, in fungal infections. They just, unless it's on your toe, and they can see it, they don't talk about it. But it's a key. And I'm telling you, I saw tens of thousands of patients over the years with digestive issues. And I said, man, you got you got yeast coming out the wazoo. You got to fix that. You get any kind of bloating, gas, or anything like that, oil of oregano, and you're already taking the probiotics, okay? Now, the third thing you got to restore is this, gut mobility, okay? Gut mobility. If you are constipated and your bowel's not moving properly, okay? We'll talk about this in a minute, but it's not a lack of fiber, okay? It's just not. If you have issues with that mobility, drink. I put coffee, because you know me, I'm a coffee guy. Coffee is the best thing you can do for your bowel. And it's mobility. The other one, magnesium. I'm big on magnesium. Very important for the mobility in your bowel. Okay? Mobility and water. Water, coffee, okay? Magnesium. Isn't that fun? You get to drink coffee. Okay. No, but gut mobility, guys, okay? Replace, fix the dysbiosis, fix the yeast. And gut mobility, get that going. Some of you get diarrhea. Well, it's the opposite. Okay? Because some people get chronic diarrhea. Usually I used to see that mostly in people that don't have a gallbladder. And they would suffer with diarrhea. But a lot of times too, the diarrhea will come even with SIBO. Because of, and SIFO, because of the yeast. The body's smart. It's trying to get rid of it. Okay? But if you have any issues with gut mobility, the peristalsis, we call that, the little hairs that move in the colon, that move that feces into the toilet. A lot of people have that. By the way, another issue, and again, I used to look at things holistically, okay? So I used to test for all this. But possibly too, like think about this, that your thyroid is slow to a crawl, especially if you're gaining weight. And, you know, I know I'm talking specifically about digestive issues this morning, but in the back of my mind, when I was in practice, I used to, I just wanted to see what the thyroid was doing, because the thyroid has a lot to do with gut mobility. It's not the primary issue, but it can be secondary, okay? And I used to look at all that. Okay, now, replace, fix dysbiosis, gut mobility, got to fix that. 4, stress. Because when you have stress, think of what the butterflies are. Okay? You got butterflies in your stomach. You know what I mean by that? Stress. Cortisol. You got to fix that. Because it's usually not the cause. It can be, but it usually isn't the cause, but it's a big factor. You're stressed. And stress manifests itself through the cortisol gets you onto the fight or flight. Okay? And it speaks to your stomach. You're not thinking of digestion, you're thinking of running or fighting. That's what butterflies are, guys. That's why you can get nausea. A lot of people suffer with nausea, and that's usually cortisol. Again, that's looking at the gut holistically. Okay? So I fix that. I would aim to fix, okay? Decrease the cortisol. Stomach acid. Increase your stomach acid. This is so important for the whole digestive tract. Teaching after teaching, I get in on stomach acidity. People want to talk about their pH all the time, and they misunderstand it. Okay? If you've got digestive issues and they're chronic, this is an area that a lot of people, they never even look at. They think of their gut, but they don't think of their stomach. And the problem in our society today, and it's one of the reasons we see so much more problems with the gut, more than ever, because people don't have enough acidity in the stomach. Oh, Dr. Martin, I got acid reflux. I know. You don't have enough acidity. Your body's trying to make more of it. And it's so important that your stomach acid, you should have more acid in your stomach than a lion has. Your stomach was made to eat red meat. And when you either use it or lose it. It's the same with the gallbladder. Use it or lose it. Your gallbladder stores, right, bile. What do you need bile for? Well, it does a couple of things. One, it alkalizes your small intestine. It pours that bile in there because your stomach is so acidic, or at least it should be. When food comes out of there, that acid has to be neutralized when you get it into the small intestine. That's what bile does. Okay? The other thing bile does, it emulsifies fat. It's like dish soap. You know? You get a dish soap that emulsifies fat, grease on your plates and your pans, right? Well, that's what your gallbladder does. But a lot of people, especially women, who bought the lie of salad. I love my salad, as if you were a cow, as if you were a rabbit. I watched a rabbit in my yard the other day. I said, I wish they would come more often. They love the dandelions. I saw that rabbit eating a dandelion the other day. But they're meant to eat that. Okay? I don't know what they find good about it, but rabbits seem to like my grass. Salad. Rabbits love salad. But if you don't use that stomach acidity, use it or lose it. What happens to the pH if you live on salad? It becomes more alkaline. See, a rabbit has alkalinity. And they have an enzyme that you don't, called cellulase. You don't have cellulase to eat salad. You don't have that. What? You don't have that. Because you weren't meant to live on salad. You weren't. You're not a rabbit. And salad is so hard on your stomach that a cow needs 4 stomachs to digest salad, grass. Salad is just glorified grass. I know people, they can't stand it. Like all the gurus, all the modern thinkers, all the people, and I just sort of say, well, I'm sorry, you got it wrong, my friend. In all due respect, you weren't meant to live on that stuff. Not even a bit. You weren't meant for it. Now, I'm not saying you can never have a salad, okay? But just understand, your stomach wasn't made for that. Your stomach is so acidic. It was meant for a steak. You don't eat it. You're a carboholic. You know what happens? Your pH of your stomach goes up. And now you get acid reflux. And now you get conditions. Why do we see so much bacterial infections today? Your stomach is your primary area of defense in the body. What comes in? When you got good acidity, no bug can survive in there. It just can't. So today we got so many aggressive bacteria that should be held at bay in the gut, and they're not. Because people are walking around, nobody's told them that their pH of their stomach isn't acidic enough. Okay? It's not acidic enough. Now, okay? So you want to get your stomach acidity, restore it. Eat steak. And your stomach will respond. And when I say steak, I mean meat. I love red meat, guys, because of its nutrient profile. I like, and get off sugar. If you got digestive issues, don't feed the bears, one. And for your stomach acidity, get off sugars and carbs as much as you can. Get off the pasta. Get off the noodles. Get off that stuff. Because it has a big effect on your stomach acidity. Okay? And, you know, I was thinking of bacteria like H. pylori. What is that? Well, H. pylori just sticks around in your stomach. But if your acidity in your stomach is good, you'll never hear from that bacteria. It'll never pop its ugly head. Why? Because it can't in an acidic environment in your stomach. That's where you want to be acidic, in that stomach. And H. pylori and other bacterial, they get into the gut. How do they get into the intestine, the small intestine? Then they can travel up into your blood. How do they get there? Not enough acidity in your stomach. Okay? And then, okay, so I like apple cider vinegar too. If you've got low acidity, low. If you're not acidic enough, I like apple cider vinegar. I like balsamic vinegar. Just take a tablespoon of that. It's good for you. And number 6, fiber. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Stop. I used to do this with every chronic bowel condition, every one of them. Okay? And it went against the grain. I'd say, listen, I want you to stop. No more fiber for 30 days. What? Dr. Martin, I'm going to die without my fiber. I watched a commercial last night, a cereal that said, with extra fiber, with heavy fiber. You know what? There's nothing that will irritate your bowel more than fiber does. It irritates it. Yeah, but I want to have a, what? Do you think you win a prize if you have a big stool? You don't win no prizes. That stuff is roughage. It's called roughage. And it goes into the bowel and it irritates the bowel. I had to prove that to tens of thousands of patients over the years. I said, you got to trust me. Trust me for 30 days. I know oh, Dr. Martin, if I don't have oatmeal in the morning, I might not be able to go for a poo. I said, poo-hoo, who cares? I don't care about that. I want to fix. I know, I can be silly at times. But I used to tell my patients, okay, look, you waited a long time to see me, right? Yes. Okay. Why? Well, because you got a good reputation, Dr. Martin? Yep. I said, now, look at me. Look at me. You got to trust me. I'm going to tell you stuff that's going to go against the grain. But you got to trust me. You tried everybody else. Now trust me. You got bad digestion. Your gut is driving you mental. You don't know what you're allergic to when it comes to food. I took an allergy test for food and everything came back. I can't eat anything. Yeah, because your bowel is it's got a sunburn on the inside of it. It's irritated. You ever had a sunburn? It hurts. Well, people walk around with a sunburn inside their gut, not from the sun. But their gut is so irritated. That ain't no fun under the sun. Listen, by the way, you need the sun. The sun is good for your gut even. But that's in another issue. Okay. So guys, I just wanted to do that. I'll take a picture of this, put my notes up for you. Okay? I don't know if you can even read my writing. I can't even read my writing. Anyway. Okay. Guys, what's Friday? Question and answer. So send your questions in. And oftentimes it becomes question and answer Monday too. We appreciate you guys. Love you so much. You have no idea. We're almost at 90,000 followers on Facebook. We're at 89,000 and change. Guys, we got to get up to the 90,000. So tell your friends, tell your family, share this, and tell them about the Doctor Is In podcast. If they can't watch it live, they can download the podcast on their favorite smart device. Okay? Even a senior citizen like me can do it. Okay. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.